Hello, my name is Terrence Davis, Superintendent for the Beaumont Unified School District, and I want to share some information with you about the Summerwind project on the west side of our district. We did a presentation for the Board of Trustees on February 13th, 2018, and these are the components of what we discussed. The first component was that the Summerwind campus could be a variety of different configurations based upon the needs of our students. We looked at the timelines that we would need to have to ensure that we're designing that property given what our current as well as our future needs are. And we looked at our existing space. How many elementary students, middle school students do we have now, and what would be the best use of that land to ensure that we had appropriate space for them. And then the last component is really utilizing that land for flexibility. It could possibly be a middle school in the future or even a K-5, just depending on the changes of our demographics. And this report was all put together as a team approach, working with several different departments and divisions within our district to ensure that we were making the best informed decision. And then at the end of this process, looking at what we are recommending to our board in order to make an informed decision to have direction to move forward.
My name is Evan Brown. I'm the Director of College and Career Readiness, and I took a look at the research surrounding K-8 schools versus traditional middle schools. Most of the research that I looked at was empirical and revolved around longitudinal studies. And we came up with some key findings after a cursory look at the research that exists. Those findings, the first of which is that the body of research is somewhat limited due to recency and the volume of research that's out there. Most of the existing research suggests that K-8 students do perform better in ELA and math than their middle school counterparts, and that's evidenced by the state assessment results that they take yearly. We also found that K-8 students have higher rates of attendance along with greater social emotional benefits, such as leadership, attitude towards school, participation, connectivity, those sorts of things. And then the third key finding that we researched was that K-8 students experience less achievement loss in the transition to high school than middle school counterparts. And this was also suggested by K-8 students having higher high school graduation rates than traditional middle school students who have transferred into a high school. Most of the research is suggestive, meaning that it suggests that the smaller cohort size of a K-8 does add to the success of K-8 students, middle school students in particular, because traditional middle schools typically have larger numbers of middle school students, but the research is not conclusive, meaning that there are a lot of variables that you have to control for, such as demographics, income, location, affluency, teacher qualification, et cetera. So after looking at that, those were the key findings that we found in the body of research that exists today.
Hi, I'm Dr. Matt Barnett. I'm the Director of TK-12 programs here in Beaumont Unified School District. And in my experience with a K-8 school, the parents really like the program, and it really benefits the students because of the small community for middle schoolers. Usually there's about 300 middle schoolers at the K-8 school as opposed to 800 to 1,000 at a traditional middle school program. There are also a lot of specialized programs at K-8 schools which make them really attractive to students and parents, such as International Baccalaureate, having a computer technology or coding emphasis, a STEM emphasis, sometimes a visual performing arts emphasis, or a leadership or 21st century skills emphasis. Some schools that we've had, or that I've had experience with working in a K-8 model, are Fissler School in Fullerton, which had a computer technology focus, was very popular with the community, and also Beechwood School, which also is in Fullerton, which had an International Baccalaureate and middle years program focus. And that community focus for these schools really brought the parents in, brought the students in, and helped the community to support the program all the way around.
This is Tony Knapp, Assistant Superintendent of Instructional Support Services. At our previous meeting with the board expressed concern that all of our sites provide students equity in their programs. In response to that, I just want to let you know that it's our goal using the 9 pillars to ensure that there's a quality-based program at every one of our sites. Our staff works diligently to ensure that every school receives this strong base program that includes high-impact instruction in the core instructional areas and including physical education, AVID, and special education. By allowing each site to have the core program, we also allow each site to personalize their extras. This allows our school sites to be responsive to their local school communities. As you can see on the slide, both at San Gorgonio Middle School and Mountain View Middle School, they have personalized their programs to meet the needs of their students.
My name is Mike Satley. I'm the Executive Director of Facilities Planning for the Beaumont Unified School District. Just want to recap on some of these slides from the previous presentation. The first slide here shows again the elementary school capacity versus enrollment based on our 2017-18 year projections and the generation rates from 2017 and how many elementary school seats we have available in the district for the next couple of years. And again, this is district-wide. The following slide is the middle school capacity versus enrollment. Again, this doesn't consider roving staff at the schools, but just looks at the way space is currently being allocated at our middle schools. The next slide shows a sample layout of a K-8 that was completed over the past few years and how the district and designers worked to separate the lower grades and the upper grades, which is one of the concerns. It's not very different than how we separate our kids currently, where at all our elementary schools, the kindergartners and the lower grades are kept generally separate from the upper grades. So the slide shows kind of some gradients on the far right side. Kind of the yellow shows the kind of the TK K1 type of a section proposal. The orange is kind of the more the second and third, fourth and fifth, and then following on the far other side of the campus, you have the kind of the 6 through 8 side, and then of course in the middle you kind of have the neutral territory between the library, the admin. So again, it kind of shows how we would separate the kids. Of course, this would be specific to the particular site. But again, it kind of shows how through design and through programs we can work to keep kids separated and work together on a campus. Based off of the previous presentation, questions and concerns were brought up regarding a K-8 scenario. Those questions and concerns were addressed during the presentation, and the administration recommended moving forward with the K-8 Summerwind project design scenario, and the board approved to move forward with that K-8 for the Summerwind project.